Does homeschooling and parenting keep you pretty much permanently exhausted? Like, are you ready for a nap right now with this very moment? First of all, you guys, breathe a quick prayer to your Heavenly Father. Why? Because He wants to carry your burden. I want you to consider this invitation. We're hosting the Homeschool Parenting Summit 2.0, and it's for you, ma'am. It is for you, sir. Not for one more thing for you to add to your to-do list, but to help you, homeschool parents, to focus on God's simple plan for family, discipleship, to recharge your motivation, and to faithfully take action to raise your children who love God and others. You guys, it's all free with video sessions featuring a world-class lineup of parents, authors, and speakers. So will you join us? October 16th through the 21st, I need you to sign up now using my link so that you can get instant and free access to this year's Parenting 2.0 Homeschool Summit. Sign up using the link below and hurry because you can't afford to miss this event. Where are you finding counsel for your homeschool parenting? Blessed is the man who walks not in the counsel of the wicked, but his delight is in the law of the Lord. That is Psalm chapter 1, verses 1 through 2. Find wise counsel in the sure foundation of God's word at this year's free Homeschool Parenting Summit 2.0, coming this October 16th through the 21st, 2023. There will be over 25 videos, including Paul Tripp, Lou Pirolio, Nancy Campbell, and many more who will encourage you to set your heart on God's plan for parenting and to find wisdom for faith-filled action plans. You guys, register today for free. Click the link below for more information. I guess my question is, does it pay to be pro-blackity black, or does it pay to be pro-American? Because at this point, your pro-blackity black agenda is falling on deaf ears and nobody's listening. You guys, April Chapman here with the Standard of Truth podcast, where we discuss all things social, cultural, political, and theological from a biblical perspective. Today, I am compelled to provide some commentary on this migrant crisis and updating you guys on what's been happening, not just in Chicago, not just in New York City, but also what is actually happening regarding this crisis right here in the good old ATL. So the reason why this story is so important, it's because I have been for years trying to help people in the Black community, those who look like me. I've been trying to get you guys, particularly the ones of you who claim the name of Christ, to stop being so obsessed and so focused on this colorism, this ethnicity, this quote unquote pro-Black agenda. And the reason why I take this position is twofold. It has nothing to do with the fact that I think that I'm just not Black. Last time I checked, I was highly melanated. Point I was trying to get God's people to understand is that if you are a believer, and if you live here in America, the only agenda that you need to be concerned about is an agenda that advances the ideals that will make the American fabric of our society good for everyone. Good policies are just good, and they work regardless of your ethnicity. So a good tax plan, a fiscally responsible budget, it's good because it's good. And it works, and it'll work for everyone regardless of what you look like. But Today, I want to talk about this migrant crisis that's going on in Chicago because unfortunately, this is not going to feel good. But these people told you exactly who they were when they were campaigning. And instead of you listening with the discerning ear and hearing what they were telling you, you chose to side with these people because they looked like you. Because they looked like you and you thought that they were speaking your language and you actually believed that they were going to do something specific that was in your best interest. But what we are seeing happening is that the opposite happened. So I want you to take a look at this clip and then I'm going to come back and we're going to talk about it.
At 5, Atlanta's mayor is preparing for migrants from the southern border to come to Atlanta.
Mayor Andre Dickens asked for, and the city council has approved, nearly $7 million for shelter in area hotels, food, and other necessities. Fox 5's Morse Diggs joins us live in Northeast Atlanta with all the details. Morse.
The nation's mayors, they meet twice a year and they talk in between. Andre Dickens knows all about the pressures on New York City from this migration, and he wants to make sure nothing like that happens here. Almost nightly, when the numbers run high, the influx of migrants shown on your TV screens. It was a Texas governor, frustrated with the Democratic administration in Washington, who was first to try to change the equation and send thousands to northern cities. In New York, one of the landing spots, the bills and the population are piling up.
I don't see an ending to this. I don't see an ending to this. This issue will destroy New York City.
I reject that notion to use language that this will destroy the fabric of America. America was built upon immigrant labor.
Atlanta Councilwoman Keisha Waits and her colleagues supported Mayor Andre Dickens' initiative to fund at nearly $7 million a program to shelter migrants who make it to Atlanta.
I spent several years serving with the Federal Emergency Management Agency. I stand behind this mayor in terms of the decision to put this funding forward. At the end of the day, these are families. These are human beings.
The Atlanta Cash.
Wait a minute. Did I hear her say that these are families? These are human beings? Did I also hear them articulate that they are slating $7 million toward this issue? And did I also hear her say that, I support this mayor and I stand behind him because we have to remember that this country was built with a T on immigrant labor. You guys, first of all, I need you guys to listen to what these people are saying. These hypocrites, listen to what they're saying. She wants to boast about the fact that these are families, and she wants to boast about their humanity. And she is trying to manipulate you and pull on your heartstrings to make you feel bad that, it's not enough that American families in this country are suffering. It's not enough that the humanity of so many brown and black babies in the womb are being slaughtered wholesale. She doesn't worry about those vulnerable humans. But what she wants to do is be Weasley with language. Use Lucifer's language in a real manipulative way to make you think that it is uncharitable and it is wrong for you to say, listen, yes, I can acknowledge their humanity. I can have empathy for these families. But flooding our border, and coming in here illegally, without us having prepared or planned ahead for what the plan is for these people at the same time, while those who are stateside, who were born here, have not been taken care of first. She bypasses that and doesn't want you to focus on that. She wants to emotionally manipulate you and put the guilt trip on you and say, well, this country was built by immigrants. I'm sorry. Immigrants and illegal aliens, those who have breached and pierced the border of our country illegally without being vetted, is wholly different than what happened in Ellis Island. Oh, we're about to go there because let's be clear. I come from a family of immigrants. My grandparents came through Ellis Island in the 20s. The Statue of Liberty was the beacon of light and hope that they saw when they came on that boat all those decades ago. But you want to know what? This country knew who they were. They knew their country of origin. They knew the purpose and plan for why they were coming to this country. And they didn't come here expecting anything. There was no handout. There was no, oh, well, we're going to let you work despite not being a citizen here, and we're going to give you food and shelter, and we're going to displace all the other people who were here before them. No, that's not how it worked. Don't let these people manipulate you and rewrite history. Many of us are families of or descendants of immigrants. But we came here the right way. And you can't even compare this immigration to the transatlantic slave trade. Here's the issue. We're not making the proper category distinctions. Having been kidnapped and sold into slavery by our own people and then transported here by colonizers is not the same thing as not protecting the sovereignty of your nation, keeping your border safe and secure for the people that you have been elected to serve and protect. That is different than just letting the floodgates open and say, y'all come on in. We don't need to know what type of diseases you have. We don't need to know if you've got a criminal past or criminal history. We don't even need to know what you're bringing with you. Y'all just come on in, and then we're going to roll out the red carpet for you, displace our own citizens, and give you our tax money. We're going to give you the tax money of our citizens so that you can come to this country and flourish and thrive and just disappear into the abyss. They're not keeping track of these people. They're just putting them on buses and shipping them to cities. And here's the kicker. All of these Afrosticians, the Afrostocracy elites, such as the mayor of Atlanta and his entire Atlanta City Council that supports him. Did you hear that they are supporting $7 million to be funneled of your money? Mind you, people always wonder, well, we got to do something. Yeah, but who's going to pay for it? Oh, you're paying for it. So here's how it works. You get $1 million. You get $1 million. You get $1 million. No, not you black. The blackity blacks, y'all not going to get $1 million. You're going to get $1 million. Everybody's going to get a piece of this $7 million pie, except for you black man and you black woman. And here's what I'm not doing. I'm not colorizing this so that you can have hatred and contempt in your hearts and have this callous disposition toward these illegals who are coming to this country. I'm using this language to wake you up out of your drunken stupor, to help you see that the people that you keep voting in, the ones who look like you, who claim to be so pro-blackity black, have put you on the back burner. Forget that. They haven't put you on the back burner. They just took you off the stove altogether. They don't throw you in the trash because they're making way. They're making way for their new voting bloc, and they've realized that they can trample on your freedoms and they don't have to do anything. They don't even have to answer your questions. They don't give a darn about you, your lawsuits, and how you feel about it. They're doing what they have been trained and handpicked to do to usher in their agenda. Here, I want you to take a listen. I want you to take a listen to this right here.
At 5, Atlanta's mayor is preparing for migrants from the southern border to come to Atlanta.
Mayor Andre Dickens asked for, and the city council has approved, nearly $7 million for shelter in area hotels, food, and other necessities. Fox 5's Morse Diggs joins us live in Northeast Atlanta.
The migrant crisis in Chicago is boiling over. City officials continue to clash over what to do next. And Mayor Brandon Johnson says he is planning a trip down to the border.
NBC5's Lisa Chavarria joins us live here in studio. And Lisa, all of this is happening as even more buses arrived last night.
That's right, 22 buses yesterday, guys. So we're talking about a lot of people here. The issue is, where do asylum seekers stay? The city is placing them all across Chicago, and it's being met with plenty of pushback from residents in these communities. Meanwhile, Mayor Brandon Johnson says he wants to head south to see what's happening firsthand.
My administration is committed to making sure that we are putting together the full force of government at every single level to ensure that these families, who, by the way, they're not illegal, they're asylum seekers.
He should be taking. Did y'all hear what that Negro said? There they go, weaponizing and deceiving you with their words. They're not illegal. They are asylum seekers. Now, I have no doubt that there might be a small percentage of these people who are seeking asylum. But that's not the issue. You can seek asylum, but you cannot seek asylum by the hundreds, thousands at one time. That is not how this works. This man is lying to you and trying to invoke feelings of sympathy and empathy while he puts the full weight of all of your resources, your tax dollars, and his attention toward this issue, but he's doing so at whose expense? He's doing so at your expense. And then here, I'm going to continue. I'm going to let the residents who voted for this fool, he told you who he was when he campaigned. But see, all y'all did, y'all thought we want to vote for somebody that look like us, because if they look like us, then we surely they must be for us. And now these people are standing here with egg on their face, looking crazy, pleading and trying to wave the white flag saying, we need help. But guess what? Nobody is listening.
Himself to helping the community here and making sure that he is handling the crisis is here.
At this point, the mayor didn't say when a trip like that down to the border would take place, but he also says a team with the U.S. Department of Homeland Security is in Chicago right now, taking a closer look at the severity of the ongoing crisis. The city is now also facing a lawsuit brought by two members of the South Shore Community Group. They held a meeting to talk about the issues they're experiencing with a closed high school turned into a migrant shelter.
The first thing that this lawsuit is about is for South Shore High School to reopen as a high school.
We're calling on the mayor and the governor to freeze the language of Sanctuary City.
This group is also calling for an...
Now, why would they freeze the language of Sanctuary City? How is it that you didn't know that your city was a sanctuary city this entire time? How is it that you allowed an ordinance to pass in your city for you to be a sanctuary city in the first place? See, you didn't think fat meat was greasy. You didn't think that this could actually happen to you. But do you not know that this has been in the works for a very long time? Do you not know that border states have been dealing with a migrant situation of illegal activity for years? And I am so glad that Governor Abbott was like, well, since you've been heralding yourself with your fake virtue as a sanctuary city, let me here give you an opportunity to demonstrate your amnesty arm, and we're going to send you some because we full over here. We can't handle anymore. And now black folks up there, they can see for themselves with their own two eyes an observable reality that a high school that has been empty, not serving them, that nobody cared about or was even remotely gonna take the time to say, this community needs a school, let's go ahead and get this open. But they opened it with the quickness so it could serve as a migrant shelter. And now Now you want to cry and say that this school, my daughter has to go to school 15 miles away when there's a school right here. Where were you? Where were you when the school wasn't being used before? Why were you not making your voice heard before? It's only now that you see the writing on the wall, and these people are still, despite all of this abuse that they are experiencing, they're still providing cover for Brandon Johnson. I believe this situation had to happen, but it's still not enough to wake enough black people up to be like, I'm done with this Democratic agenda. You know why? Because they still got their needle stuck on this colorism. They still are trying to fight for things for themselves on the basis of them being black and not on the basis of them being American. My brothers and sisters of like-minded ethnicity, when are you going to realize that you are an American? This is your country. And when you segment yourself and segregate yourself and constantly fight and champion for policy specifically for you on the basis of your ethnicity, that you missed the whole purpose. You missed the whole point. You missed the whole big picture. You should have rallied with other Americans all these years who have been saying, our border's not secure. We need to build the wall. But when conservatives said, our border's not secure, you need to build the wall, we got called racist. We were told that we were being xenophobic. We were being xenophobic for actually wanting our nation to be safe and secure for our citizens. So now you want to file a lawsuit? You want to file a lawsuit? What do you think this lawsuit is going to accomplish and prove? Brandon Johnson ain't listening to you. He wasn't listening to you on the campaign trail. He wasn't listening to you when the first thing he did when he came into office was he made provision so that these people's lives can be comfortable, and he took resources away from you and he gave it to them. But let's continue.
To take a look deeper into how the city is spending the money allocated to help the migrants. According to the latest numbers from Chicago's Office of Emergency Management and Communications, there are nearly 10,000 migrants in shelters, with more than 3,000 still waiting to be placed. Now, guys, Michelle and JC, this is not including the latest arrivals from Texas yesterday.
Not including the latest arrivals from Texas. This man is prioritizing going down to the border so he can see for himself firsthand and then come up with the solution. You guys, what do you think the end goal is? What do you think the end game is? The end game is to displace you, to have their new, hard-working, with the strong work ethic labor force, right? All of those services that you've come to rely on, you're not enough of the constituency for it to even matter. So they're not even focused on doing anything for you. And Atlanta, y'all a piece of work. Y'all are a piece of work. Let's go back to what's going on in Atlanta.
At 5, Atlanta's mayor is preparing for migrants from the southern border to come to Atlanta.
Mayor Andre Dickens asked for, and the city council has approved, nearly $7 million for shelter in area hotels, food, and other necessities. Fox 5's Morse Diggs joins us live in Northeast Atlanta with all the details. Morse.
The nation's mayors, they meet twice a year and they talk in between. Andre Dickens knows all about the pressures on New York City from this migration, and he wants to make sure nothing like that happens here.
So instead of him saying, oh, yes, we see what's going on in New York. No, we not set up for those problems. Y'all can't come here. No. Instead, he's trying to prepare for it. So he's going to welcome them with open arms too. And he's got $7 million that he is trying to, that's just for now. That is just for now. $7 million of your tax revenue. Atlanta hotels, Atlanta downtown is already trash right now. Ever since Keisha Ratchetan Bottoms was in office, we've had 10 cities, graffiti is everywhere, smash and grabs are up, Buckhead is not even safe, you can't go to Lenox Mall. What do you think Atlanta downtown, Midtown, and Buckhead is going to be like now with all these buses coming in? And now the all of our hotel hospitality district is now going to be overrun with illegal aliens. Y'all, let us continue.
At 5, Atlanta's mayor is preparing for migrants from the southern border to come to Atlanta.
Mayor Andre Dickens asked for, and the city council has approved, nearly $7 million for shelter in area hotels, food, and other necessities. Fox 5's Morse Diggs joins us live in Northeast Atlanta with all the details. Morse.
The nation's mayors, they meet twice a year and they talk in between. Andre Dickens knows all about the pressures on New York City from this migration, and he wants to make sure nothing like that happens here.
Almost nightly, when the numbers run high, the influx of migrants shown on your TV screens. It was a Texas governor, frustrated with the Democratic administration in Washington, who was first to try to change the equation and send thousands to northern cities. In New York, one of the landing spots, the bills and the population are piling up.
I don't see an ending to this. I don't see an ending to this. This issue will destroy New York City.
I reject that notion to use language that this will destroy the fabric of America. America was built upon immigrant labor.
Atlanta Councilwoman Keisha Waits and her colleagues supported Mayor Andre Dickens' initiative to fund at nearly $7 million a program to shelter migrants who make it to Atlanta.
I spent several years serving with the Federal Emergency Management Agency. I stand behind this mayor in terms of the decision to put this funding forward. At the end of the day, these are families. These are human beings.
Wait a minute. What about the human beings in the womb, right? Like all of the black babies, the amount of murdered, like you want to talk about immigrant labor? We're beyond the rate of replacement, and you support murdering our children in the womb without distinction all the way up until birth. However, now all of a sudden the humanity of these people from other countries, instead of you saying, listen, you need to figure out how to stabilize your own nation and you need to figure out how to make it safe where you live, you'd rather displace the people that already live here who are already suffering by taking on more of a burden of other individuals and then take money out of the mouths of those who live here. Forget the ones that are not even born. We can't even have that discussion right now because it's just going to make me upset. But you want to take the money from the residents that you already called to serve, who are already underfunded and don't have the resources that they need and don't even have a safe community. You want to support this to support families because they're seeking asylum. Unbelievable.
At 5, Atlanta's mayor is preparing for migrants from the southern border to come to Atlanta.
Mayor Andre Dickens asked for, and the city council has approved, nearly $7 million for shelter in area hotels.
Migrants shown on your TV screens. It was a Texas governor, frustrated with the Democratic administration in Washington, who was first to try to change the equation and send thousands to northern cities. In New York, one of the landing spots, the bills and the population are piling up.
I don't see an ending to this. I don't see an ending to this. This issue will destroy New York City.
I reject that notion to use language that this will destroy the fabric of America. America was built upon immigrant labor.
Atlanta Councilwoman Keisha Waits and her colleagues supported Mayor Andre Dickens' initiative to fund at nearly $7 million a program to shelter migrants who make it to Atlanta.
I spent several years serving with the Federal Emergency Management Agency. I stand behind this mayor in terms of the decision to put this funding forward. At the end of the day, these are families. These are human beings.
The Atlanta cash, secured with a federal grant, will go to a half dozen organizations who will feed the individuals, put them in hotels, and meet other needs. The president decided to elevate some of the migrants who crossed over and give them a limited status.
Work permits, you allow people to then, they're seeking gainful employment. You're not going to be deported. You're sort of part of this economy in the United States and in the state of Georgia at this point. But it doesn't bestow on you citizenship rights, right? You can't vote.
So if you have family members who have arrived in Georgia or are headed here, check out our website this evening. We will put the full list of those service organizations who are getting the money and can get them some help from Northeast Atlanta. I'm Morse Diggs, Fox 5 News.
Morse, thanks.
Well, there you have it. The birthplace of the civil rights movements. I guess my question is, does it pay to be pro-blackity black, or does it pay to be pro-American? Because at this point, your pro-blackity black agenda is falling on deaf ears and nobody's listening. Like no one is doing anything to accommodate your request. And to be honest, the pro-blackity black agenda, it's rooted in loathe, some sort of fake liberation, grievance, and covetousness. I've been saying it for a long time. Until you recognize that you are an American, and until you realize that this melanin doesn't make you special, this melanin is not a disadvantage. When you view yourself as an equal, you will start to think differently. You'll start to think differently, and you will start to make different decisions because you recognize that these dermal characteristics give no indication to your value, your dignity, and your worth. You will no longer look at yourself as a victim, but rather you'll be able to stand with other Americans who don't look like you, who are on the side of righteousness and biblical justice, and you'll be able to stand beside them and work alongside them, and you'll be able to cast your vote for good policies on the basis of them being good for America and not on the basis of them being good because you are black. This black agenda, it is a bankrupt agenda because it forces you to place an emphasis on some external dermal attribute that gives you no indication into the character of you as a person and your dignity and your worth. It's a bankrupt system. You constantly grieving and heaving and crying and smoking opium, thinking you gonna get some reparations. If you moved your needle and you focused off the reparations, you would have been sentient long enough to realize that this is a planned agenda that's been planned for a long time. And you would have been able to mobilize yourself and do something about it back in 2016 when everybody was crying, build the wall, close the border. So now you got fentanyl in your communities. And please believe, these gangs from South America, when they get up here and they start colonizing, you think Pookie and them in the hood are ruthless? You ain't seen nothing yet. They got 5-year-olds in their gangs that will smoke you out and won't even think twice about your humanity. They're going to start recruiting or just wiping out your black men. But it's xenophobic. It's xenophobic to actually want your nation to be sovereign and secure and to have a legal immigration process. You can't just swing the doors wide open and let everybody in and then they take your tax dollars and just do what they want to do with them. Listen, you guys, let me know what you think. Leave me a comment below. What are your thoughts on this whole situation? Do you think this is enough to wake up the black constituency to be like, you know what, voting for these lefticals is trash? I'm going to vote and focus on policies and not personalities and skin color, because this is a disaster and it's only going to get worse. Let me know what you think. Please leave me a comment below. Grace and peace.